Hey crew, so today's workout, we're going to do primarily foam rolling, but in some instances, I personally, I'm going to use a lacrosse ball. You guys can certainly use a tennis ball if you'd like. I even have basically what two lacrosse balls attached to each other would be. This is going to help me if I feel like I need to isolate a little bit more, and that's really what these are for, is to kind of pinpoint some things. Now, we'll be on the floor a little bit. We'll be up against a wall a little bit. We'll do some foam rolling. We'll do some stretching. It's really a great recovery type day. Now, I also have my stability ball around because I'm going to do some stretches at the end. You guys can certainly use a chair for them. I like the stability ball because I get a little bit more action out of it. So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to have a top-down approach. We're not going to hit everything today. That way we have other things we can work on in other classes. We're going to hit some of the primary, larger type muscle groups that are kind of achy and things like that. You're just going to follow along with me. So we're going to start in our upper back, our neck. I'm going to actually use the foam roller to start so you guys can kind of see what's going on. I will switch to the lacrosse ball if I feel some knots or some dings and things. But the premise, the point of all of this is we're trying to, in a sense, cause more damage to our body, right? Because that's essentially what we're doing when we do this. We're massaging ourselves, which is not the act of recovery. What we're doing here is we're trying to actually find spots that kind of nag us a little bit, nag them a little bit more until they shut up. And then what that actually does is it flags your brain, right? And it causes inflammation. It's actually causing more damage. But after this, with our water intake and going to bed and making sure we get enough rest after this, it's going to help our bodies deal with that inflammation and hopefully come back stronger later. But there is such a thing as overdoing it, right? If all of a sudden you get kind of some fluid buildup or something like that, you've overdone it. And that's also why I recommend starting with the foam roller if you've never really done this before. Because if you're using a lacrosse ball on your first day, you're probably going to overdo it. So again, we're trying to find spots that are uncomfortable, and we're going to stay on those spots. So let's start with your upper back. So I'm going to angle this foam roller. So it's somewhat at a 45-degree angle. I'll favor one side of my upper back. Then I'm going to cross my arms, lift my hips up, and I'm going to start at the top of my shoulders. And I'm just looking around. Again, I'm not putting any pressure on my neck. I'm not putting any pressure on my spine. I'm just searching around. And we're going to go, we're going to spend a few minutes on our backs. Then we'll do some stretching. So again, I'm just looking around. I'm around my shoulder blade now. I found a spot. So what I like to do is I'll reach with my arms, trying to hit that knot in every direction I can. I'm actually going to turn my body a little bit so I can get a better angle. And again, I'm going to just kind of scrape along my shoulder blade all the way down to the middle part of my back. Again, I'm playing with my arms, different angles. Different angles will do different things. Now, the cool thing about this being recorded, you guys can hit pause. You can kind of spend a little bit more time and follow along. Just because we're going to spend between 45 and 60 minutes doing this, you might spend 20 minutes now, 20 minutes later, and that's totally fine. So again, I'm hitting around my shoulder, hitting that upper back. I'm stopping right about where my rib cage gets soft. If I don't feel anything, I can switch to the other side, starting over. And again, I'll just turn my foam roller the other way. But I did find a spot that I want to isolate, so I'm going to lightly find that spot again. I'm going to find it. There it is. And I'm just going to sit on it. And again, what I'm doing here is actually causing damage, right? In a very minor sense. I'm not rolling back and forth on purpose to hurt myself. But again, I'm finding spots that already my body is dealing with, and I'm just kind of re-signaling it, hoping to improve my body's blood flow into that area. But again, most of the recovery happens after, right? For me, I'm about 24 hours away from my next workout. Sometimes what I'll do is, so today being Friday, tomorrow being Saturday, sometimes on a Thursday, I'll do this workout so that I get more like 36 hours recovery. But I wanted to make sure I got it on recording for you guys. Some of you take class at the same time. So that's why it's Friday. So again, I'm just switching to the other side now, trying to stay off of my spine the best that I can. Again, hips are up. The reason my hips are lifted so high is I'm trying to hit my upper trapezius, my trap muscles. I got some issues going. I had a big upper body shoulder day yesterday, so my upper back is a little pissed off for sure. But again, I'm finding a spot, and then what I like to do is lightly go back and forth, almost like I'm kneading it a little bit. Just a little. Right? We're not trying to do big swiping motions by any means. Okay, that side isn't so bad. So now what we'll do is I'm going to take over my wall. I'm going to sit up against the wall. And what I'm going to try to do is, while sitting nice and high, sitting nice and tall, now I kind of want to stretch that region a little bit. So I'm going to sit up tall. I'm going to push my chin back into the wall. Then I'm going to try to roll my shoulders back and push my shoulders down, right? At the same time, so not only am I pushing my chin back, I'm also trying to lift my head up as high as I can. And you can hear that my voice changed because I'm trying to let everything kind of stretch. Pushing back, and we'll hold this. Then I'll go one way. I'll turn my head a little bit, very lightly, and then back and forth. And as you go one way, you'll feel it emphasize on one side. I even feel this pulling into my shoulders as my traps relax. I'm going to keep going back and forth. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work on our pec region. Again, we're going top down here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you with the foam roller, but then I'm going to immediately switch to a tennis ball. Now I'm starting at the base of my clavicle, my collarbone, so right at the bony part just below it, and then I'll go all the way across into my shoulder. And if you can see where the seam of my shirt is, once I hit my shoulder, I'm going to go down that seam, and then I'll go through my armpit all the way down until about my rib cage. So again, across the collarbone, down the shoulder, down the armpit to about where my ribs are. So again, I'll show you how to do that on the floor. And then I'll also show you a technique using the wall. The floor brings a little bit more intensity to this exercise. The wall takes some of that intensity away, so it can be useful. So I'm not going to use my whole foam roller, especially if you're a woman. You don't need to hit that lower pec area, right? So I'm going to use the higher part. Then I'm just going to emphasize going across for now. So I'll angle it like I had angled it before. I'll lay on my stomach. Arm will be out. And then I just prop myself up onto the foam roller. And again, I'm using the edge of my foam roller to hit across my collarbone. So nice and easy. I'm going to take a few swipes at it. And again, I'm just lightly going across my collarbone into that shoulder region. One more swipe. Again, I did a lot of overhead pressing yesterday, so this is awesome. So I'm going to switch to the ball just so you can see that as well. Again, same deal. Going to slowly grind the ball into my pec. Then once I hit my shoulder, the nice thing about the ball is I can just twist my body and the ball will go down that notch that I showed you. So we go across and down. And then I'll talk about the armpit here in a second, but I'm going to show you on the wall how you can do it as well. So give me a moment so I can get that set up. Just going to turn my camera quickly. Okay, so using the wall here, I'm actually just going to use this door. We just set our body up against the door, and then again, I'll turn away from the ball. Then I'll move my arm so that the ball goes down my pec. Okay? So I'm looking away. And again, this lowers the intensity. For some people, it gives them more control. And then again, I go down the notch. So I'll try that again. Across. Whoa, there's a spot. Down the notch. Whoa, what a spot. Okay, so the armpit part. So you just came across, you went down. Now, again, we're going to go almost across the ribs and down the armpit. So I'll show you with the foam roller first. So I'm going to start with the foam roller in my armpit. Then I'm going to rock back towards the back of my shoulder and then rock back forward. Then I'll move the foam roller just a little bit. I'll rock back, I'll rock forward, and then move forward a little bit. So the foam roller is slowly going down my ribs. My wife is yawning a little bit. This is a great stretch. Then once I get to where my shoulder blade meets my ribs, I'm just going to follow my shoulder blade all the way. I gotta move my roller a little bit. All the way to my back. Then I'll reset, follow it all the way to my shoulder, all the way to the back, and then I'll reset one more time. Just giving that whole muscle a chance, and that's that one side. So I'm going to switch sides. I'll walk you through it quickly, this time with just the ball. So again, it's in my pec, my collarbone region, dragging it across, then down, oh, and then I'll reset. Across, holy Toledo, and down, and reset, one more. Down, then I'll go into the armpit. Now with the ball, it's a little trickier. I start with it in the back of my shoulder, and then it's more of an arm action that I have to do. So I'm moving my arm and reaching and stretching, slowly moving my body. Now again, remember, this ball makes it a lot more intense. If this is your first time or your 10th time even foam rolling, you still probably don't need the ball. If you're feeling some discomfort already, no need for the ball. That's what we're shooting for, is to find that discomfort. A foam roller for me in a lot of places doesn't find that discomfort, so I need to isolate a little bit deeper, get a little bit harder of an object, but by no means am I using a ball bearing or something, or a golf ball. It shocks me how many people use things like baseballs, and that's just crazy. So again, I'm doing that same action I did with the foam roller, kind of going up the spine of my shoulder blade, and then back. I'm kind of creeping on the camera. Back. Oh yeah. If anything, you could just put this video on mute and just watch me crawl around. All right, then using a chair, a coffee table, something like that, let's stretch. So I'm going to use my stability ball because I like to do this. I am not a huge fan of the stretch that people do where they put their arm in the door and just crank on it. I do that some, but what I want to do is I want more of like an active stretch. So what I'll do is I'll put the ball to my side here. And what I'm going to try to do is by pushing down on the ball or your chair, I'm going to push my chest down towards the floor. Now, as I do this, I feel a stretch from my wrist all the way to my pec, just like we've been working. So again, I'm reaching with my hand, I'm pushing my chest down, and only until I feel a stretch. And again, you really want to reach one way and push your chest down another. Oh, yeah. And then I've been known to move the ball forward and back just a little bit. If you're on the chair, you can slide your hand a little bit. Because again, I want an active stretch. I'm not a big fan of holding a stretch for too long. My wife is making fun of me right now. Trying to make me laugh and giggle. Then I'll switch to the other side. Again, I reach my hand, I push my chest down. Oh, this is all the further I need to go. And then I'm moving the ball. There are a lot of fibers that go in different directions in your chest. It's hard to describe what it would look like. It almost looks like a chicken thigh. You know, a chicken thigh or a chicken wing. It's kind of how the fibers in your chest look. And I'm moving and grooving. Then to continue this stretch, again, we just did our whole upper back. Now what I'll do, I'll kind of back up so you can see this. Actually, I'll turn, you can see my butt. I'm going to put the backs of my hands on this ball or the chair. And then, again, I'm going to push my hands one way. I'm going to push my chest down. And then from here, I'm going to reach forward and pull back. Maybe I'll do some circles. I'm trying to stretch those muscles that at the end we were hitting, right? My lat muscles, my upper back muscles. Again, I'm pushing my chest down, rocking side to side, forward, back. If you're on a chair, you can do this too. Sometimes I'll do one arm at a time, like you see me doing here, just to really emphasize one over the other. Oh, yeah. Boom, boom. Good. Upper body, done. Now, so we did chest up. We're not going to do a whole lot of time on your spine today. A lot of people get the basic concept. When you are rolling your spine, just make sure you're not putting a ton of direct pressure on your spine. That's not great, especially in your lower back. It's already arched that way. You don't want to keep pushing it even further, right? So again, if you're going to use a ball, the tennis ball, I personally, like I said, have one of these. We also have different foam rollers that have grooves cut into it. But again, this allows me to hit on either side of my spine. This makes it look like I have a small spine. But that's what I like to do. So now we're going to move on to our hip region. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, just like what we did with your collarbone, we're going to start kind of in the notch of your hips, right? Kind of where your spine and your hips come together. Then we're going to go all the way across, all the way around to the side of our hip. Okay, so we'll do that a few times. We'll start with the foam roller. Again, if you feel some discomfort with the foam roller, that's all you need, guys. You don't need to be going crazy. So again, I'll start by sitting on the roller. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm right on kind of where the notch is in my lower back. I'm going to slowly turn my body while I lower my elbow down towards the floor. That way, I can keep kind of twisting into position. I get to the front where the side of my hip, then I'll come back, kind of twisting back, put my foot back down, then I'll sit myself up. And we'll do that again. Back down. Again, it's an active thing. If you find a spot that aches, stay there, right? Find a spot. My wife is achy. Her whole body is achy. And then what I'll do, so once I came across that whole hip, the bony area, I move the foam roller down a little bit, and then I start working on the glutes, the butt cheek. Same deal, rocking all the way to the side of my hip. And I'll come back. And you guys will get the hang of doing this. You get plenty of tricep and shoulder work when you foam roll. You guys are looking for a moderate workout, foam roll. You'll develop a good core because you're constantly manipulating your body. Yeah, so again, hitting that hip region. I'm almost completely sitting on the foam roller now. All right, so I hit that hip with the foam roller. I'm going to hit the other hip, the other side, with my ball. So same concept. We want to go across the bony structure just a little bit, just beneath the bony structure, or below, rather, not beneath. If you're beneath your bony structure, you just broke all your bones. Right? So we're going all the way. Same deal. Now, using a ball, the nice thing about it is there isn't that big cylinder in the way that you have to manipulate your body around. The ball's a little easier, but it's way more intense. Yeah. Good, good, good. I'm kind of rocking. Then once we've done this, we will stretch our butt. Then we can work on those legs. That's ultimately what today is about. Those legs. Oh, can't wait. It's been some time. All right, so let's stretch your butt. Now again, I'm going to use my ball. If you want to use your chair, you certainly can. I'm going to sit down. Now what I want to do is I want to take my hips and really try to push them behind me as I cross my ankle over my knee. So I'm pushing my hips back, ankles over my knee. Some of you already feel a stretch here. I know I do a little bit. But ideally, we're going to try to reach our hands over our shin, reach down towards the floor, and we're going to sit here. Again, I like to move. I don't like staying in one spot too long. I kind of wiggle around. Because again, I'm not trying to increase my range of motion. That's not what I'm doing when I'm stretching. My range of motion for my sport is at least good enough. I don't need to improve it. If you're trying to improve your range of motion, you would want to sit in a position a minute, not too much longer than that. Some people, when they hold their positions for minutes, they're trying to rush the process. Increasing range of motion in your body takes time. It does. It takes some time. So again, I'm sticking my butt back. Holy hip tightness. Oh, this hip hates me. What did I do? Oh, I'm not reaching much at all. Can't wait to do the legs. Quads, IT bands, inner thighs, oof, the calves. This is going to get real. All right, let's move the balls out of the way. So I want to do one last thing for our hips before we move on. What I'll do is I'm going to lay on my back flat, trying to keep my lower back down. I'm going to alternate dropping the knee in. And what this is doing is it's kind of relieving where we started. So when we had that ball in that notch, our iliac crest, we can put a little extra tension in there. So these twists can help kind of alleviate some of that tension. I got a crack. You don't need to search for that. My SI joint, sacral, iliac. All right. It's time for legs. Now, use a really soft foam roller, okay? Use a soft foam roller. Mine, thankfully, it's a plastic insert, but there's a good foam coating on it. The harder your roller, the more this is going to hurt. And again, it's not about hurting. It's about slight to moderate discomfort. If you're in extreme discomfort, that is not okay. All right? Let's start with your calves. Calves are little burners, I like to call them. So we're actually going to try to start just at the base of our heel, okay? We're going to work all the way up through our Achilles heel, our Achilles tendon, going all the way to the knee. So what I'll do is level 1 is butt down, foot on the roller, and I'm just going to rock side to side. Level 2, butt down, cross your legs. This is about where I like to play. Level 3 is if you lift your hips off the ground. You probably don't need to do much of this. You can keep your hips down. And again, I'm going to rock side to side, going all the way toward my knee. Ooh, I found a little spot. Then I like to flex my foot, point my toes, flex my foot. We're essentially moderately stretching as we do this. Not a whole lot. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on our legs, because we can do some damage if we go too long. But once you start to get to the meat of that muscle, you really want to be careful. Okay, again, moderate discomfort, not extreme, not excruciating. My wife's not doing her calves. She doesn't want to. She hates it so much. That's right, I just kept her accountable, just like I keep you guys accountable. Again, I'm slowly moving up. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to favor one leg entirely. So I'm on my right leg. I'm just going to do my whole right leg with you guys and then my whole left leg. So I'm rocking and rolling, rocking side to side. Once I hit my knee, I'm just going to back up so you guys can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop to my forearm and I'm going to slightly go up and back along the side, going up to that hip that we were hitting before. Now, when we get to about the middle of that leg, That's some crazy discomfort. Be careful, you may not make it all the way up to your hip. You may only make it a little bit, and pain tolerance gets the best of you. But again, this is not something I want you gritting your teeth and trying to grind through. We want you to be relaxed, we want you to be calm. So again, I'm at the side of my knee, around the ligament region, the bone, almost bony structure. And I'm kind of rocking my hips back and forth. If your feet are off of the ground, that's more intensity. Feet down, less intensity. And I play around with intensity. Today I really don't have to. My legs are plenty sore today. Even this is not happy. This is not a happy place. But again, I'm trying to rock as far over the fronts of my legs as I can and the sides. So I'm almost doing half of my leg, right? I'm not just doing the sides. I'm carefully crossing from front to side. Oh, whose idea was it to foam roll today? Oh my gosh. My T-bed hates me, but it'll love me after this. Again, I'm rocking to the front of my leg. On your quads and your IT bands, I only recommend a foam roller. Don't get a tennis ball out. Don't get a lacrosse ball. It's so sensitive already. If you're to the point where you need a tennis ball to feel it, you're probably good. You could probably do just a couple stretches and call it a day if a flat foam roller doesn't do it for you. Again, I'm rocking side to side. I'm right around that I'm in a good spot. Where the side of my glute comes forward, right? The medial part is coming forward. That's about where I am right now, hitting that. Now, the cool thing about using a foam roller in this region is it's really flat. It kind of stretches some things out too. And I can lay my body down. Oh, yeah, this is fantastic. Hitting the side of my glute now. I already hit it with the ball, but you know what? Let's hit it twice. Then, so I did my calf, I did the side of my leg. So I just did, see this? About this half of my quad and down the side. Now what we're going to do is focus on the other half, on the inside. So what I'll do is I'm going to lay on my stomach. I'm going to angle the foam roller and throw my leg up. Now, to get pressure, we kind of want to rock side to side, lifting our leg up, pointing our toes down. And again, you're trying to get the other chunk of that leg. Now, on the inside of my legs, I've been known to use a tennis ball, at least around my knee region. That sometimes if I'm having knee pain, just putting a tennis ball kind of where my foam roller is now takes care of my pain. But again, I'm trying to get as much of that leg as I can. This feels great. Doesn't take me long. I'm in that hip flexor region that, kind of squeeze my butt cheek as I do this. The outside wasn't too bad. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. You guys keep foam rolling. Then we'll do the other side. I just got up and started walking around. Wow. I feel so uneven. My right side feels great. My left side is so tight. All right, let's start on the other side. So again, calves first, then IT bands. So once again, cross your legs, lift your butt if you need that intensity. I do not. I flex and point my feet. Going side to side. You're not happy. Is this painful? You already did that. You're just flying now. Doing my left leg. My wife's had a tough week this week for sure. She's had a tough week. Crisping and crossing and cracking, popping, snapping. Again, be careful around the base of your calf muscles. Man, this can be damaging, right? We don't need to damage. We're trying to recover so that we can come back stronger, so we can come back and kick some butt. Tomorrow's a heavy day for me, so I definitely need to be in tip-top shape. So again, I'm going to show you my butt. We'll do the IT band. And again, I'm rocking side to side. This side is not nearly as bad. Ooh, I lied. I definitely lied. This side is painful. But again, it's not excruciating, right? You don't see me gritting my teeth. You see a relaxed face. Just finding spots. And again, if I find a spot that's really sensitive, I try to sit on it like you see me right now. And what I'm thinking about is it trying to relax, right? I want my body to kind of subdue itself and relax. Now, this type of a workout can be very powerful in the middle of the night if you wake up and, let's say you wake up and you're a little anxious. I know for me, if I had a really big squat day, those nights are tough for me if I don't foam roll, because I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and my legs are twitching and they popping and snapping because they're trying to recover. And if I get up, spend 5 minutes foam rolling my legs, 10 minutes foam rolling my legs, I'll fall asleep right away. But if I lay in bed and like, oh, I'll fall asleep 3 hours later, I'm still not sleeping, right? So again, it's tough to do in the middle of the night when you're like, oh, I'm just so tired, I just want to fall asleep. Get up, foam roll, get back to bed. You'll fall asleep so much quicker. You'll wake up feeling so much better. All right, I just did my hip. So again, on this side, just for funsies, I'm gonna use my ball just so you see a little different. So I don't have a tennis ball, it's a lacrosse ball, so I'm barely gonna put any pressure on it. But I'll put it right in kind of the notch of my inner quad, my medial head. Oh yeah. And then I'm kind of rolling it around. This feels great. After this, we're stretching. We're done. Yeah. Oh, this is painful. Oof, oof, oof. That's a spot. Oh, the body's like, no, twitching. Painful. Oh, move that a little bit. And if it's so painful that you can't even put pressure on it, you might be dealing with some issues or a potential issue, right? If you have a really soft foam roller, so my foam roller is kind of tough, but if you have one of those really light, white foam rollers that, you can step on it and change its form forever, if you lay on that foam roller and it's painful, you probably overdid it. You probably boiled your muscle a little bit, maybe not actually boiled, but you probably overdid it with your muscle. And why are you doing that to yourself? There's no need to wake up the next morning, you can't walk. That's not great. Oh, that feels good though. Oh, good spot for that ball to kind of sit in. Right around that femoral artery. Ugh. All right, let's stretch. We're going to start with your calves and hamstrings. So I'm just going to turn my camera again towards the wall. Calves and hamstrings. So I'm going to put as much of my foot on this wall as I can. Hopefully that stops shaking. That's fine. I'm going to put my foot up against the wall a little bit. And I like to have kind of a soft knee when I'm getting into position. That way, when I'm good and ready, I'm going to lead with pushing my hip back and kind of leaning up against the wall. And I get to stretch up my calf, up my hamstring. I've also been known to do this on like a step, like a stair or a step at the gym. Oh, yeah. So again, I'm trying to scoop my hips back. Painful. Then I'll switch. Soft knee, put as much of my foot on the wall as I can. Stick my butt back. Holy Toledo. This calf is just tight. I'm not trying to force my knee to be straight. I'm just slowly straightening my knee. What a wonderful stretch. All right. Then we're going to activate our hip a little bit. Now, if you're using a chair or a couch, this is a great inner thigh stretch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my foot up on my ball. You guys can throw it up on your chair. And then what I'm trying to do is almost like I'm doing a split, right? I want a little bit of a inner thigh stretch on both sides. This is kind of like we're doing the box split. Now, since I have a ball, I can kind of reach my foot away and pull it back. Reach my foot so that I'm really trying to stretch to one side. I can even go forward and back on the ball a little bit, but again, I'm reaching and pulling, reaching, because I'm really trying to get that inner thigh to stretch. Oftentimes we'll do the butterfly stretch, but not today. Oh yeah. Switching sides. Cool thing about the ball is it moves. I don't have to turn around. So again, I'm gonna get a good stretch in my inner thigh. I'm really trying to push my hip down towards the floor. Oh, this feels great. Reaching, pulling, twisting. It feels fantastic. Oh. Last one, guys. Last stretch. So again, if you're using your chair, you're going to put both your feet up against the chair. Then step one leg forward. And what we'll do is we'll upright ourselves. Now, ball moves, chair doesn't. It's kind of cool. If you need a pillow or a mat underneath your knee, certainly grab that. What we're doing is you can see there's a little bit of a crease in my hip. I want to tuck my buns so that I get a good engagement here in the front of my leg, and then just barely, and I mean barely, I'm going to move forward. The reason I don't want to go too far forward is for me, when I go really far, really all I'm doing is taking the bone of my leg and just jamming it into my hip. I'm not really getting a stretch or anything more, but when I tuck my buns and slide a little, I get a lot out of it. Then personally, what I like to do is I like to reach. That way I'm taking care of some inner abdominal muscles. My psoas is really what I'm doing. By reaching in opposite directions. Yeah. Then I'll switch. So in order to switch, I just step my front foot back. Then I can step my other leg forward. I sit back a little bit so I can get a good butt tuck. Then I'll slide forward a little. Once I know I'm in a good locked position, then I can reach. Again, for me, I have some psoas issue, which is a muscle that goes around your spine. It causes some lower back pain for me sometimes and has a tendency to get in the way. So I like to add a little reach on this stretch, and it takes care of my problem. A few more seconds, guys. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Now, last thing, last. Some of you are just going to lay on the floor. Me personally, I'm going to lay over this ball. I like to end my yoga classes in that corpse pose. But here, I'm going to end my rolling class. Stretched over my ball, hands behind my head, kind of like a corpse pose. But what I'm emphasizing is letting my hips drop down and my rib cage drop the other way. Some people, what you can do is put your foam roller in your middle back and just lay over your roller. But I'm trying to just let my legs dangle and relax. This feels great. I hope you guys liked today. We didn't even do like triceps or biceps. Didn't do your spine. There's other things we can do with your legs. Plenty more stretches. So this will be something that I'll roll out from time to time on a Friday. I'm really digging the yoga classes, but I had a few people ask about foam rolling in the last week. So it's like, hey, let's just do a class. Oh, feels fantastic. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Tuck your chin. If you're on a ball, sit on up. Ooh, sit on up and roll on up. Thank you guys for taking class today. Hopefully tomorrow morning you guys feel energized and ready to rock. That's the whole point of these kind of days, is we want to make sure that we promote recovery, not necessarily just keep destroying our bodies. So I'll see you guys around. Have a good day.